All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Dillian Whyte. Man, I talked about Dillian Whyte so bad yesterday on a video that I actually had a video demonetized. It's like, what did I say? I don't even think I cussed. They must have had like some special thing like, nah, you talking too much smack about Dillian, dog. We gotta cut your dough off on that one for now. So anyway, I'm back at it though, because now you got defenders from Dillian Whyte, defenders of Dillian Whyte, saying people are being too hard on him and that they need to treat Dillian Whyte better. And the WBC said, Dillian Whyte, you ain't no mandatory anymore, and disses him. So let's talk about all of the kind of leftover conversations from Dillian Whyte's the demolition of Dillian Whyte at the hands of Alexander Povetkin. Let's talk about these things in this video. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, Dillian Whyte gets knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. He is no longer the WBC mandatory challenger for the WBC heavyweight title. He lost in what I would consider humiliating and humbling defeat at the hands of Alexander Povetkin. And for many people in the sport of boxing, it was a celebration. Absolute celebration. Throughout Twitter, throughout YouTube, people laughing, feeling quite joyous at the loss of Dillian Whyte. The WBC announces that there is no timetable to name a mandatory for the WBC title, which means that the WBC says, kick rocks, Dillian, kick rocks, Alexander Povetkin. We're not interested in you because we have a Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight, and the winner of that will be fighting Anthony Joshua, hopefully. So our money is up. So not only is Dillian Whyte beat up in the ring, insult is added to injury with the WBC saying kick rocks and boxing fans gloating globally. You know, they say boxing is a global sport. I never really understood that. Well, I mean, I knew that that was the case, but the whole global gloating over Dillian Whyte's loss, it's like it brought multiple continents of boxing fans together in a group laugh fest. Now, I did all that on purpose because Dve Coldwell, the trainer out of the UK, a respected trainer out of the UK, trains a lot of the MTK global fighters, is a former flyweight, really bitty little dude. But a solid trainer, seems like a nice guy, man. You always see him kind of with the rest of the crew, you know, the Tony Bellews and who were the rest of them? Tony Bellews and Johnny Nelsons and right, all of those guys that were doing a lot of talking about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury fight, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, that whole crew of people who, by the way, were relentless and merciless in their tearing down of Deontay Wilder for multiple years. So, not Dve Coldwell, though. I gotta give Dve Coldwell his credit. I never heard Dve Coldwell go as hard on Deontay Wilder or other fighters as, say, Tony Bellew or Johnny Nelson or Dillian Whyte or the multitude of other people from those camps. However, I don't think anything other than Dillian Whyte got exactly what Dillian Whyte deserved. Because there's a lot of sayings, your chickens come home to roost. That's one. What is another one? You reap what you sow is another one. What's good for the goose is good for the gander is another one. Okay? all of those things. And everybody that that Dillian Whyte, through Dillian Whyte's own mouth and actions, disrespected over the course of the last 2 years, dude, he is getting exactly what he asked for, Mr. Caldwell. He asked for it. Now, Dve Coldwell uses this, what I like to refer to as a, what do you call it, man? When you're just using a cliche defense. So, if you criticize a boxer, like if I criticize a boxer, what's the first response that you get back from boxers? Because I'm not a boxer, right? How dare you insult this guy because you don't have enough courage to do what he's doing? That's what Dve Coldwell says. He uses that, right? No disrespect to the guy, because I do, like I said, I from everything that I've heard, I like the guy. But this is just a bad argument to make, okay? It's a bad argument to make. Dillian Whyte getting knocked out with Alexander Povetkin is funny, because I think that I wouldn't have gotten knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. I know I would have been knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. I know it, without a doubt. I'd have got knocked out by Luis Ortiz. I would get knocked out by Josh Taylor. In a boxing match, I would probably get knocked out by Chocolatito. Little 112-pound Chocolatito could probably get me in the kidney, and then 1-2, I'm in trouble. I respect the sport of boxing. I know you guys can fight, okay? However, respect fandom too, okay? Respect fandom too, because we have watched you fight. We do know what you're doing. We pay attention to what you're doing. And when somebody tears down another fighter like Dillian Whyte did, Dillian Whyte is telling you how to treat him, right? We're just following the lead. When Deontay Wilder beats, and this is not just Dillian Whyte, but when Deontay Wilder beats Luis Ortiz by knockout, an undefeated Luis Ortiz, right? Undefeated. Never lost a professional fight. Multiple knockouts. Been avoided by a lot of people. What did Dillian Whyte say about Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder beat Luis Ortiz? He called him an old man. He's an old man. Nobody cares. He's 50 years old. So what? Right? What did Dillian Whyte and all of those same guys say about Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder knocked out Dominic Breazeale? Dominic Breazeale is a bum. Dominic Breazeale, that's nothing. He's just ducking Dillian Whyte. That's a trash fight. Da-da-da-da-da-da, right? What did you say when he knocked out Bermane Stiverne the second time? Bermane Stiverne's a bum. He didn't do anything, right? Are you starting to see it? Oh, he knocks out Gerald Washington. What's the story with that one? Well, he was losing every round. Yeah, he was knocking out everybody, but he lost every round. He's trash. He's garbage. That's what you said about Deontay Wilder when he was winning. When he was winning. When he was knocking everybody out. Undefeated. Holding the championship for 10 years. And Dve Coldwell, y'all didn't give him any respect. Matter of fact, you disrespected him. Maybe not Dve Coldwell directly, but Dillian Whyte, Johnny Nelson, Tony Bellew, Dillian Whyte, all of them dudes disrespected Deontay Wilder when he was winning. What do you think? So they're telling us how we should treat Dillian Whyte when he loses. Because unlike Deontay Wilder, when Deontay Wilder was taking criticism for victories, he wasn't the one that was laid out on his back. It was his opponent. And you guys didn't. I didn't hear any of this from Dve Coldwell about leave Deontay Wilder alone. Let him enjoy his victory. Give him credit for his 10 years, for his 10 title defenses. Give him credit for his Olympic bronze medal. Give him credit for his 40 knockouts. Treat the man with respect. You guys think that you guys can do that? You think that you could get in there and beat Dominic Breazeale? I'd like to see you fans get out there and beat Dominic Breazeale and knock out Dominic Breazeale. I'd like to see you fans knock out God, dog, I got to name a lot of people he knocked out. I'd like to see you guys knock out Arthur Spilka. I'd like to see you guys knock out Gerald Washington and Chris Areola. I'd love to see you guys knock out Bermaine Stavern twice. I'd love to see you knock out Luis Ortiz twice. I'd love to see you put Tyson Fury on his back and get a draw out of Tyson Fury with him laying on his back. I'd love to see you guys do that. Did you make that argument, Dave Caldwell? Were you out there making those speeches to people about how they shouldn't tear somebody down in victory? But you're okay with him, but you want to defend somebody that deserves every bit of criticism that he gets. Not only for telling just flat out stories. Dillian Whyte was lying about being the mandatory for 600 days. He was the #1 contender, and Dominic Breazeale was the mandatory. Deontay Wilder defended his mandatory in 2019. But Dillian Whyte and a bunch of these dudes ain't giving Deontay Wilder enough credit by telling people what the truth is. You just repeat the lies. So cry me a river on Dillian D-Ball Whyte getting knocked out. Dillian Whyte tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs and got into the ring to fight against Oscar Rivas with gloves that weren't approved. But yet you think people shouldn't be criticizing Dillian Whyte? Man, cry me a river, dude. Dillian Whyte, by #1, deserves his criticism because he asked for his criticism. If he wasn't the type of guy that was running around dogging people in victory, people wouldn't be laughing at him in defeat. That's on Dillian Whyte. And it's on Dillian Whyte, and it ain't on nobody but Dillian Whyte. Ain't no defending him. There, sit on that L and build yourself back up. His whole career over the last 3 years was built off of insulting and tearing down Deontay Wilder in victory. He called Deontay Wilder a coward for fighting Luis Ortiz, a guy he wouldn't fight. That's hypocrisy. Deontay Wilder's a coward ducking him because he fought Luis Ortiz, but yet Dillian Whyte was ordered to fight Luis Ortiz and he wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz. Deontay Wilder was a coward for fighting Dominic Breazeale and not fighting Dillian Whyte. But Dillian Whyte wouldn't fight Dominic Breazeale. He turned the fight down. People pay attention to this stuff, man. And Dillian Whyte is getting the criticism that Dillian Whyte deserves. Period. And with that, and the WBC, he threatened to sue the WBC unless they gave him a date for a mandatory fight. Even though he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs in a fight against Oscar Rivas with those gloves, and he's lucky that the WBC, if the WBC had any integrity, they wouldn't allowed him to get his mandatory title back anyway, because he lost it already. This is the second time he lost it. He lost it once to PEDs. He lost it to the second time to a knockout, man. Dude, God don't like ugly, man, and it is what it is. So sit on that L. And don't complain about people laughing about him, because, dude, he deserves it. Well, deserves it. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.